Hello and welcome to this video. Let's dive into the Marina Gate development in Dubai Marina and see if it's worth renting it or buying it. The first thing we're going to do is look for a one-bedroom property, and we're going to look at some historic data here. I've just found this one, which is a recent listing, Marina View, large layout, about 760 square feet. Looks to be within the sort of typical price range, but we can also have a look at this table on Property Finder where it shows the recent purchase prices and the recent rent prices, which is actually very handy for this calculator. So the first thing we're going to look at is the kind of average here. I would like to think it's probably in the region of 140. That's very recently rented. So I'm going to stick to 140,000 for the rent side. And to purchase it, you're going to be looking at 2.5 million, let's say. So we're going to go into the calculator, 140,000 to rent, and then we're going to increase that rent by 3% a year for any future years. The buy price is going to be 2.5 million dirhams. We're going to simulate this over 10 years. Now, in 10 years' time, we might expect that that value will increase a fair bit. So not 30 million, sorry. Let's go for 3 million for the sell price after 10 years. And then the maintenance and service charges, it's looking at about 21 dirhams a square foot. And like we said, it was around 700 or 800 square feet. So I'm going to go for 16,000 per year there. Now, the mortgage data I generally keep the same. Long mortgage, 25 years, 4.2% and 20% down payment. And that's all the data I need to make my decisions. If you have a look at the first column, you'll straight away see that it's telling you the buying is the best thing to do here. The reason for that is because if you were just to rent it, you'd pay 1.6 million over those 10 years to rent this apartment, including the increases, including the agent fees and whatnot. That's assuming that you can stay in that one apartment for 10 years, by the way. There's a chance you may need to move and so on, but let's assume you can. The total paid to buy the apartment, live in it, pay all the mortgage payments, pay all the services, and then sell it. And when I say buy and sell, I include all of the agent fees, various other DLD fees and all of that. You will have spent a total of 588,000. So 1 million dirhams less to buy it rather than rent it. However, in order to buy it, you would need to have coughed up 686,000 dirhams up front, and then you would be paying a monthly mortgage repayment of 10,700, and if you include the service charges, it's around 12,000, which is actually very similar to what you would have been paying per month in rent. But obviously when you buy it, you need to pay a lot up front. So what if we, instead of paying that up front, we stick this into the stock market, into an investment fund, an ETF, something diverse in the stock market, to see if we can make some money back. That's what our last column brings us to, and this is clearly telling us to rent and invest. So if we were to rent that property and invest this amount of money up front, all in one go, we're not actually going to add anything to it, or we can add like 400 dirhams a month just to even out the calculation. But that investment of 686,000 dirhams after 10 years at 8%, which is a very kind of go-to number for ETF type investing on the stock market, will lead to a new value of 1.6 million. So you've almost made 1 million dirhams there, which essentially means that you have spent over 10 years 13,800 dirhams to live in this property, whereas the total to paid to buy, live in, and then sell would have been this much. So the total difference after all of that is about 500,000 dirhams in favor of renting and investing. I would totally advise not to buy this property, because this also assumes that the price of it goes up. And obviously, as the building ages, that might not be the case, although it is a very desirable building in Dubai Marina. If it was me, most likely I would go this route, rent and invest, because there's few situations where the calculator will tell you to buy in this column and then also buy in this column. And it's usually when the net yield of the property is over sort of 6% or above. So because this is such a poor yield, I wouldn't recommend buying it even for your own place to live, and especially not if you're planning to invest as an owner. If you are looking to invest in a property, as in buy it and then rent it out to someone else, have a look at my other calculator, which will help you calculate many other useful things for that process. For here, buying with a mortgage versus renting, you would save money if you were buying it instead of renting it and doing nothing else with the money. If you've got the deposit though, you may wish to seek to invest it instead and then save yourself 500,000 dirhams over 10 years. Let's see what happens if we drop the time frame to just 5 years. Now, this might be a bit of an aggressive increase in value, but then again, Dubai has seen property prices increase of higher than this per year. And by the way, that is the percent per year increase when you calculate the change here. So over 5 years, it is still obviously telling us to buy here because we would have been saving 500,000 dirhams. But if you rent and invest, you are still seeing a massive positive difference. Just allowing that number to grow over 5 years at 8% is still going to reach over 1 million, which will always work out better in favor of renting and investing. In fact, you will have actually made 300,000 dirhams by doing it this way. So that is your summary for the Marina Gate building. By the way, if you're looking for service charge information for any product, any property, I should say, in Dubai, this number is really important for these calculations. If you go over to this website, which will be linked in your description, once you're there, you need to click Inquiry about Service Fees Indicator, find the building, click Residential and the most recent year, and then it will show you the actual number. So this is 22 AED per square foot, and we do actually have an additional parking fee there as well. But anyway, that is the big number that you need to consider. Multiply that by the square foot of the property, and that's your true service charge. A lot of agents will hide this from you, especially if this number is quite high. So thank you for watching, guys. Quite an interesting result there, but one that I expected. High value apartments like this generally are better to rent than to buy, but it might not appear that way if you only look at this set of figures. You do, whatever you do, you need to invest your savings. Do not leave it lying around, because then you're leaving money on the table. You either should invest it into the property itself, or if you're confident, you can invest it in the stock market, and then you will make a good return. Thanks for watching. Let me know if you need any personal assistance, and I'm more than happy to help walk you through it. See you next time.